Hi, and welcome to Cooking with Kids. I'm Sarah, the Children Needs Services Librarian with the Spruce Grove Public Library. And in this program, you're going to meet my family, my husband Dave, and my kids, Sutty, Monty, Ozzy, and Theo. Cooking with kids can be a crazy experience, as you may have already found out yourselves from doing this with younger ones at home. But the memories they make and the hands-on learning that they take away from being involved in food prep and meal planning can last a lifetime. It can also lead to a foundation of healthy eating habits. So more suggestions and tips for this can be found on Canada's Food Guide online. So go ahead and enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, today we're gonna do a little cooking again. We're gonna make some quesadillas and some fresh salsa. First we're gonna start off with the quesadillas. We're gonna do chicken. You can do all sorts of stuff in them. If you want, you could do like a chorizo, which is like a spicy sausage. You can do a little bit of beef if you want. You can do a veggie version if you want. Up to you. But essentially all it is a little bit of onion, meat, and fried and seasoned, and then we put it inside of a burrito shell and kind of cook it with some cheese in it so that it's nice and hard so we can chop it up into bits. So we're going to start out with the chicken. We're making enough today for my family, which is, how many of us is there? 6? Thank you, Monty.
1, 2.
Oh, yeah, by the way, this is Monty and Theo. They're my helpers at the moment. So normally when I'm doing stuff for burritos and stuff, I do a little bit bigger pieces of chicken. But because we're kind of folding them flat and cooking them that way, I'll do them a little bit smaller pieces. And up to you, you can cook them in bigger pieces and then chop them up, but I find that tends to be a little more iffy because of
Dad, there's 6
because
people.
they tend to be hot. Yeah, there is 6 people, isn't there?
In my
How
family,
many kids?
4
4 kids? Okay.
and 2 grown-ups.
Do you guys eat a lot or what?
Monty is the one that eats a lot.
Monty does eat a lot, you're right. Depends if he's how hungry he is. So yeah, we're using chicken thighs. You can use chicken breasts if you want. Just be aware that chicken breast does cook faster and dries out much faster. So chicken thighs tend to be a little more user friendly. Alright, so here we chopped up 8 chicken thighs. Looks to be about the right amount for us. About 1.5 pounds, I'd say. And we'll set that off to the side for now. Make sure you use different cutting boards for your meat and for your vegetables, because that's how you get food poisoning. So next thing we're going to need in there is a bit of onion.
Onion, yummy, yummy.
Yeah, let's get that outer layer off. I'm using purple onion because I'm going to use some purple onion in the salsa. But normally I just use the yellow onion, so use what you want. Feel free to use some spring onion or whatever. And then chopping up our onion here.
Oh, no. That's enough.
So there's our onion. And some people like to use different cutting boards for their onions because you get onion smell and everything. But we're putting onion in our salsa as well, and you kind of want an onion smell in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to get our chicken cooking here first while we start doing our salsa. Alright, so we're going to get the chicken going here. You're going to need 2 pans total today. You're going to need one for the chicken and such. And you're going to need one for the quesadillas that we're going to put in there. I'm using a cast iron pan today just because. Warm them up ahead of time. And then once you put the meat in, you really don't want to stir it around until it starts to warm up. So I'm just going to spread some of this over and get it there. And you let that cook for a little bit before you start stirring it, or else you might get stuff stuck to it. But so we'll start with the chicken. We'll fry it up a little bit. We'll add some onion, and then we'll add just a little bit of seasoning. So while that's getting going here, I'm going to go chop some vegetables over for our fresh salsa. Total cook time on the chicken is probably going to be about 7-8 minutes. Because you don't really want to get too crazy with it. As far as overcooking goes, this is more important when you're doing a chicken breast compared to chicken thighs. Alright, so for our fresh salsa, we're going to want 2 or 3 tomatoes. We'll go with 3 because We're going to need a little bit extra here. We're going to dice them up a little bit. Remove the core a little bit. And we're actually going to end up throwing this through a little bit of a food processor. Okay, so our tomatoes cut. We need a bit of onion. About half of a purple onion or so. Depends on how big you got. So we'll do a little bit here. Now, the next thing you need for your salsa would be a pepper. Now, depends on how exciting or adventurous you are as far as peppers go. But something like a single jalapeno would be good. And this is a, what the heck is it, a Carube, I believe? Pepper, a little less spicy. But yeah, you kind of just pick what you want. For eons, I was gun shy around jalapenos, but as long as you're not using a ton of them, it's not bad. Just make sure you're not like rubbing your eyes and stuff like that while using them. So we take that and we core it. There it is. And I'm going to actually wash out the seeds because the seeds are a little spicier than the rest of the material itself. There we have our jalapeno.
We call it peppers.
Yeah. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to throw a little bit of a bell pepper in too. Bell peppers are sweeter. They're not spicy whatsoever. So it's more just kind of the pepper flavor. I'm doing it mostly for color. Something else we want to do is add a little bit of lime. The lime's your favorite, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the better way I could use one of
Where
those.
the heck is it? Aha, there it is. So we're going to add some lime juice. So just get the juice out of one lime. If you don't have a fresh lime, that's fine. Use a little bit from a bottle is what it is. Of course, fresh is always kind of nice. And it's also kind of nice in that we're kind of making fresh salsa, so if we can keep everything fresh, we will. So.
Smells good so far.
Yeah, it smells like limes, doesn't it? I'm actually going to use a little bit of lime in the chicken as well. So we'll set that aside for that. For salsa, the last few things we're going to need is some cilantro and some salt and pepper, and a little bit of ground cumin. But let's go season our chicken now. Alright, chicken's just about done here. We stirred it 2 or 3 times. It's been 5-6 minutes. All the pink is gone out of it. And now it's time to season it. The onion got put in there. Now we got to pick our seasoning. You can mix up your own. It's all that's in regular taco seasoning type stuff for most Mexican food is things like a little bit of chili pepper, some cornstarch, some salt and pepper, a little bit of onion powder or garlic. I still cheat and use taco seasoning. And yes, I decided it was a good idea to buy it in bulk. Just cause. But you can always get things too. There's like a chipotle mango. Different kinds you can get. This is just some cayenne pepper if you want to add a little bit of that. But yeah, we'll just sprinkle in a little bit of taco seasoning. I'm going to add a little bit of lime actually to the chicken itself because if you're making some Mexican food, lime basically can go in anything and makes it taste great. Now, I don't like to get too crazy on the seasoning with this stuff because you are putting things like cheese and stuff in it. And by doing that, cheese itself tends to be a little bit saltier. And so if you over salt this, then you might just have a bit of a salty mess on your hands. So, just about done. We'll add a little bit more seasoning. And that's kind of it. We can turn that off. And we're going to go finish making our fresh salsa. And then we will start cooking these. Alright, so we're back to our fresh salsa now that the chicken's done. We got our tomatoes, we got our jalapeno, we got a little bit of yellow bell pepper in there, some red onion. Now we need some cilantro. Apparently about 10% of the population literally, this tastes like soap to them. But for the rest of people, it kind of just is what makes Mexican cooking, and kind of just another herb that you can plant in your garden, grow, and put in all sorts of stuff. So you want about half a cup or so of this. If you don't have fresh, that's fine. Just use dried, use whatever you want. But once again, fresh salsa, so we're trying to keep everything fresh. And this is some ground cumin, also common in a lot of Mexican food. So we'll mix it all up, and then I think we'll do it in 2 batches so we can chop it up easier. And we should probably taste test it. You know, just to make sure if we want to add anything else, a little more salt and pepper or anything like that. The old whirly chop here. I'm sure at some point in its life it was as seen on TV, but now it's as seen on the internet. What do we think?
I want to do something.
Okay, just wait. Here, can you dump that in that bowl for me, Theo?
Okay.
Dump it in. Okay. Yep. Monty's gonna do this one. It's a bit of a hard pull because there's a lot of tomato and things in it. So, just put your hand on here with one to hold it down and spin it a bit. Here, I'll hold it for you. You use your hands to twist it. There you go. There you go.
I want to do
If it's hard to pull through, then we can always do some smaller batches. And then we need to taste test it.
You taste test.
You want me to taste test it?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Off camera, son, can you go grab me some chips to try it out on? All right, the salsa's doing all right. We decided it was a good idea to taste test it, and found it was a little heavy on the cilantro. I didn't really measure. My half cup, I think, looked a lot more like a cup. But so we did grind up one more tomato to add it to it to even it out. But yeah, and now we got to grate some cheese so that we can grill this with the chicken. Have a block of cheese. Put one hand on here to hold.
Only if I have a bit of the yarn.
Yep. No, I have to purchase your work with some lime.
Dad, I want
That
to
can
do
work.
it.
Wait. Now cheese, you can grate some up and use it and see where you get to, or just grate a bunch and go from there. So one other thing we'll have for just kind of a little bit of a side and add some flavor is some grilled pineapple. A little bit of pineapple or mango just fried with a little bit of cayenne pepper on it is really delicious. Or chipotle. My wife bought me this like last month. It is amazing. So really can't say enough about it. You just kind of stick it on there. And it kind of cuts all the pineapple out. Look at that. Popped right out. Pineapple. Sweet. This thing's amazing. Long gone are the days of using a knife and chopping off the weird spiky bits that are still stuck to your pineapple. Anyways, so yeah, it's like a giant spiral here. So honestly, I'm just gonna go like that. And now we have pineapple. Typically this is something I like to do in the summer with mango, pears, apples, pineapple. But it's still kind of cold outside, so we'll just throw a little oil in the pan and fry it in the house. Something else that tastes quite nice with all of the said fruits above is a little bit of cinnamon, if you want. Depending on what they are, you might want to add just a touch of sugar or something. And because we're doing our Mexican stuff, I think I'll just add a little bit of chipotle seasoning. And we'll just let those kind of go on medium heat here for a few minutes. All right, here we're getting ready to assemble. Just taste tested the chicken, and it could use a little bit of salt and pepper. So we'll add just a little bit there. Some pepper, and I did just add a little bit more of the taco seasoning, just to give it a little more zip. The lime flavor tastes really good that we added to it. And now we're basically ready to assemble. I turned on the burner here to get this guy heating up. You don't want them too hot or else they'll burn before they firm up the burrito shells. And so we put one of them down. We grab a little bit of the chicken and we spread it all out. We only want to put some on half of it, and we don't want to put anything really, really close to the edge. And we also don't want to add like crazy amounts of chicken. Like you could probably even do a bit less than that. But this is where we're at. And so now add some cheese. We are using marble cheddar. You could use Monterey, you could use all sorts of stuff. Whatever your taste buds like. So there we have some cheese that'll help hold it together. And now we flip that over. So that's all there is to that. Now we take the second one, put it in there, do the same thing. Add a little bit of the chicken, and then some cheese, and that's that. It depends on your kids' preferences. Some of mine don't mind a little bit more filling. Others like just mostly a little bit of chicken and then some cheese and nothing too heavy. So now we got 2 here on the go. We'll wait for them to warm up for a few minutes. Alright, so these are ready to go. By cooking them till they're a little bit brown like this, they actually firm up pretty good, and you can kind of hold them just with one regular size flipper. And yeah, that's kind of what we're going for. Want them kind of nice and flat, a little melty, and yeah, basically a couple minutes per side right now anyways, and that's where we'll try to keep it. Alright, they are done. They've browned up on the underside a little bit here, and they're done. Normally I just let them cool for just a minute and then we can chop them up. But while that's happening, we'll throw a couple more on. Alright, here we got all our ingredients. The quesadillas have had a little bit of time to cool down. So we'll chop them up. You can chop them into whatever size you want or how many pieces, but 3 tends to do us. A little bit of that fresh salsa on there, and grab some of this grilled pineapple. And there you have it.
Thank you for watching Cooking with Kids, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Public Library. We hope that you enjoyed this recipe and are inspired to try it yourself at home. New videos will drop on YouTube and on Facebook on the first Friday of the month throughout the winter. For further information on this and other exciting programs we are running during the winter-spring season, visit our website at sgpl.ca. So join us again soon for more tasty makes. Stay safe and have fun in the kitchen.